And here we are with Chris, and we're going to talk about Canonical. This is one of the most important business right now about technology. So of course we need to talk about what they do. The most important thing is that he's going to speak tomorrow here. So yeah, he's going to present himself. He's going to mention what does the company do, and of course we're going to talk about this place itself.
So thank you, Delia. Thanks for making time. I'm Chris Sharma. I'm financial services sector leader at Canonical. Now, Canonical is a pioneer in open source. Today, the world is changing. And if you look around, according to a study that was done by Harvard, 80% of the software that is used by enterprises is open source. Now, open source allows you as an enterprise to attract the best talent, gives you the flexibility to use software, enhance the software, and contribute back to the community, to the open source community. Canonical is primarily known because of Ubuntu, and Ubuntu is an operating system, which is an open source operating system. It's being used by NASA, by companies, by developers, by startups. So effectively, Canonical provides open source software to be used right from the cloud to the edge.
So it means that everyone needs to use your product and services, isn't it?
Well, yes. I think the world is heading towards a fact where they realize that if they have to be the leader in their business, they would have to understand how open source can be used within the enterprise. Canonical is a leader in open source, and we have got products. As I said, it's primarily known from Ubuntu, but apart from Ubuntu, we actually provide a range of products, right from the operating system to IoT solutions in terms of how we can help organizations automate software operations, which is one of the big challenges that organizations face.
So you are talking about your products, but which is the main or the most important that you say, this is our best product ever?
I think it's hard to actually pick up one, right? It's all dependent by what is the need of the industry, what is the need of the community. As I said, we actually deal with operating systems, which is Ubuntu, as we know. We have got offerings in the Kubernetes space. We have got two flavors of Kubernetes, which is called Charmed Kubernetes, which is Kubernetes is an environment which can be complex for organizations to install and then actually manage that environment. So what we do is we help organizations manage those operations effectively, make them handle situations which are easy to manage, easy to deploy, and the day zero and day two operations. Apart from Kubernetes, as I said, what we have got is helping organizations manage the day two software operations. And we have got a technology called Juju, which is an operator lifecycle manager, and the Charmed Operators, which effectively is codifying the software operations into a code so that the day zero and day operations are easier for organizations to manage. We have got another version for the IoT, which we call as an opinionated operating system called Ubuntu Core. So there is a range of products, right, as I said, from enterprises, from the public clouds to the edge.
Why should we use your business, instead of the competitors? Sorry. Why should we use your product and services instead of the competitors? Why are you better than them?
So as I said, I think Canonical has been a pioneer in open source, and you would find other organizations which are offering open source products. But the fact is, Canonical has got a wide range of offerings, right from public cloud to enterprises to the community towards the edge. What's all the more important is the ethos of Canonical. We always believe that we need to actually level play and provide the software for firms which aren't able to compete with the larger organizations. And in that perspective, Canonical is able to provide the free software. Effectively, it's open source. So what you do is we are providing you a flat platform for innovation. You're not paying any license fee. And at the same time, what you have got is the guarantee from an organization that can provide you enterprise support if you need the enterprise support. So effectively, what you're paying is paying for the value, what you're deriving from an organization. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So about tomorrow, what do you want to say tomorrow? What are you talking about? Why have you been called for that speaking tomorrow?
So I think one of the key challenges for enterprises in enterprise systems is how do they deploy their environment, how they manage those environments. And software operations, the day-to operations are really, really complex. It's hard. And on the top of it, I think what's really important is in an enterprise space, in an enterprise world, integrating between two applications within the application landscape is very challenging. So the talk tomorrow that I'm giving is on driving business agility and reducing IT cost at the same time for enterprise applications using software automation. And this is where I think some of the two of the products that I've actually touched upon, the open source products, they are open source projects called Juju, which is Operator Lifecycle Manager, and the process of charming. Tomorrow I'm actually going to present two case studies from financial services world and an organization called Finos, which is the Fintech Open Source Foundation. Large financial institutions are realizing the benefit of open source, and they have open sourced their applications which they are using internally. So tomorrow in the case study that I'm going to present, what we have done is working very closely with Finos and trying to demonstrate the value of software operations to large-scale enterprises. So it's not only about the day zero, which itself can be quite challenging when you look at applications which are enterprise-grade applications to be deployed, which are composed of multiple components. And on the top of it, what is really difficult for organizations is how do they manage the day two operations. And this is where Juju and Charmed operators make life easy for enterprises, make life easy for software developers. And please, I would look forward to seeing you all at my talk.
Yeah, that's great. One more question. How do you feel right now in this place? Do you like it? Because it's the first time in like 2 years that we have events like this size, and from everywhere, people is very happy because the vibes in this place right now is beautiful, it's amazing. I'm very glad to be here because I haven't feel like this in a long time. But how do you feel right now in this place?
Absolutely.
What can you tell about this event?
I think this is great, right? As you said, we have been living in a virtual world, but having that face-to-face connect between I would say the providers of services and the ones which are actually looking for solutions from the vendors. I think it's really important. And events like the one that we are here provides you that opportunity to meet face to face. And it's great. I think the world is coming to a sense of normality. And at the same time, I think hopefully, fingers crossed, that we would have the opportunity to go back to where we were, and I think this is a good start, where we the vendors, system providers, and the users and the people who want to use the latest technology would want to understand what's happening in the technological world.
That's great. Any message that you want to leave for our community?
I would certainly say that if you're looking for solutions, open source is certainly the way forward. I would really encourage you to look at how open source can help solve some of your business problems, and the open source community is growing, and I would actually sincerely suggest for enterprises to consider open source. As you could see that if 80% of enterprise software is open source, if you have to be a leader in your space, there is no going about the way that you have to understand how to use open source, what are the best open source technologies, and how open source can solve your business problems.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.